Hello and happy Friday, Gamer Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to get into. I mean, one of the most powerful weeks in gaming, I would say in at least the last decade. We have Spider-Man 2, we have Mario Wonder, we have Sonic, and we have Halo Reckoning Season 5, all in the 5-day week, Monday through Friday. Like, how spoiled are we as gamers? How privileged that we can say in a 5-day block, we get new Halo content, we get a new Sonic, we get a new Mario, and we get a new Spider-Man. I mean, wow. And speaking of Spider-Man 2, unfortunately, I really wanted King David to be here in the flesh because obviously we're brothers and he always has a great take on things. He's stuck at work. Now, obviously, he wasn't a scheduled guest, but I was hoping that we might be able to get him in for a few minutes. He's not going to make it in time. Maybe we'll get him in one of these upcoming weeks, and that's always great to have King apart with the show. Crispy Bomb is not going to be with us. He got called into work as well. Guess what, folks? Real life. And we're waiting on Dread. I don't know if he's going to make it in time, so it might just be us. But I think there is so many topics that we're just going to have a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, I see a lot of people poking fun at Spider-Man 2, and unfortunately, it's starting to deserve that. Like I said, I personally have only put an hour and 20 minutes in. I have not had a bug, but to be fair, it's only been an hour and 20 minutes. Now, since last night, we've seen some real egregious bugs in this game. Obviously, you can't use the PlayStation 4 as an excuse because this is a PlayStation 5 only game. King David actually on Twitter does what he normally does. He's driving. He puts out this video. I have it queued because it's King being as real as he could be, and it's going to really kind of just set the mood of how the gaming media, and folks, listen, I'm not being a bot here. I'm being very serious when I say this. And I said this to the guys moments ago before we went live. At least from my point of view, and of course I could be wrong, and I will love to have this conversation, and we will. For Xbox first party, it appears that the deck is stacked against them, meaning that before the game is even played, they already in the negative 1 point to 1 point, a point and a half. That's my opinion. For Sony, it seems like the deck is stacked in their favor, and before the reviewer even gets hands on controller, it is already in the plus 1 point to 1.5 points. And it does seem that, of course, Spider-Man sitting, I don't know, it's hovering at a 91 or a 90 versus like something like a Starfield that got reviewed bombed publicly by places like IGN and GameSpot and PC Mag that lowered it to an 83. And that game did, Bugthesda, as they're known for, we know that, yes, there were some loading stuff, but there were not bugs where you couldn't play the game. And maybe some people did experience it, but what we're seeing with Spider-Man is pretty bad. Now, I have not experienced that. I want that to be clear, but that's a conversation that we have to have. And also, on the back end of the show, we got to talk about the full court press that is the Xbox marketing. My God, they have been on a level. I mean, you want to talk about turning the dial up to 11. We've all complained about it. We've all pointed the finger. We said, Microsoft, you got to be better. You got to do Sony-like marketing. And man, oh man, that commercial that they dropped yesterday was powerful. It had a lot of Easter eggs in there, which we're going to talk about. Last night at the Vegas Sphere, they did the Xbox logo, which was absolutely stunning. I get goosebumps talking about it. We found out that at one of the soccer matches, they were imprinting Xbox Game Pass codes on the foot-long buns. I mean, what are we talking about? And on top of that, someone posted that in Sydney, in Australia, on their bullet trains, it's all decorated in Starfield. I mean, talk about really pushing the pedal to the metal. And this is all right after they closed ABK. I mean, it's great time to be an Xbox gamer, but we will get into all of that. Let's get into introductions, and we'll start with Web Dave. Sir, good morning. How you feeling? Welcome back.
Oh man, thanks. It's great to be here today. So many good things to talk about. So many amazing Spider-Man stories out there. So I can
Yeah.
hardly wait to talk about that. I'm sorry.
No, we're
Wasn't
we're we're gonna get into it. And of course, I
okay.
really want to give you my hot take of my hour and 20 minutes. I am just ridiculously impressed. I just find it to be stunning. It is what I expect in a Sony first party game. It is what I expect from Insomniac. Like when there's a whole segment with that you get to see Craven before he gets to the city, and it's when they superimpose on his face,
Hmm.
it's almost like watching like real life. It's so good, but there's a lot of there's a lot of bugs to get
Lot of
into. Yeah,
bugs.
but we will get into it, and we will be fair about it. We will definitely be fair about it. Dave is probably going to be slanderous as he is, and you know what?
No.
That's he's allowed to do that because
No.
that's his. Listen, that is your right, and
Thanks,
you
man.
know something. Again, it's we. I want to keep the same energy. We had a
Oh
lot of the
yeah.
same energy for Starfield being just very very mid, and motorsport being just another motorsport. It's just stupid, right? So
Hmm.
the energy can be sent back the other way. But before we get there, I want to introduce our next panel member, and of course that is Fuzzy Belvedere, Mr. Racer himself, who actually plays both Forza Horizon 5 and Motorsport, as well, of course, as Gran Turismo 7, which he's a fan of. Good morning, sir. How are you feeling?
Morning. I'm feeling great. Yeah, it's a good celebratory time for gamers all around. Xbox gamers playing Starfield and Forza, and PlayStation fans still tweeting about Starfield on Twitter.
Yes. Instead of tweeting about games that they're playing, they're still talking about trying to slander. It just goes to show you that they're a bunch of weirdos, man. Instead of playing games, which I'm playing on multiple consoles, I'm literally playing on all three platforms, and I have the biggest childlike cheese Christmas morning smile on my face. And I don't understand these dudes. I just don't understand them.
Oh yeah, and we'll get into the bugs. Somebody made a comment in the chat, Bugger Man too.
Bugger
That
Man
cracked
too.
me
Yeah,
up.
I did see that. Well, so it's pretty bad, folks. So look, as I do, I'm always about promoting other people. I don't think King David needs to help to be promoted because he's obviously he's an icon within the community. But he did something this morning that I have it queued up, and I want us as a community to listen to what he had to say. It's about maybe a minute, so I'm going to do a screen share for a hot second because I think it's incredibly important to the conversation that we are about to have. So let me just bring this up, and let me just let's see. No, don't picture in picture. Let me just blow this up for you folks, and let's see.
All the reviewers didn't say anything about bugs. Now that the game is in the wild, all I see is bugs. Single player story driven narrative game filled with bugs. You can't say it was the PlayStation 4 that was holding it back because it's a PlayStation 5 only game. So far, Big Mario didn't care. Big Mario came out on your day. It's not just birthday. It's our birthday. It's our birthday. It's our birthday. And then this 90 Metacritic partner. See, if Xbox dudes was petty like y'all, we review bombing. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't care about that. Let's just keep the same energy. That's all I'm asking. Keep the same energy. I like Spiderman, but let's keep the same energy, right? It's about games, right? Let's keep the same energy. But this leads to a bigger point. The house of Sony is burning. Quality control is in the flaw.
Yep.
Remember when y'all was asking Microsoft to have better quality control? What's up with the quality control over here? Come on, man. The remaster wasn't like this. The first game wasn't like this. Miles Morales wasn't like this. This is under Jim. This is under Jim, my guy. Jim. This game is released under Jim. Buddy. It's not really looking all that good, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to King David. Obviously, if you're not following him on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. Look him up, King David. Follow that man. I think that is, I mean, first of all, anytime King David speaks, yes, he has fun. Yes, he could be slanderous, but he's real. He's a real gamer. He's been gaming as long as I have. I know King David for years. That is as real, I think, as you can possibly get without trying to use console war rhetoric as your tent pole or your talking point. And he's not wrong. The quality control at Sony is a problem. And here, this is a perfect example of it. You know what? After Spider-Man 2, folks, we just don't know what is going to happen for Sony. Their roadmap, which we're going to get into. And now, again, I got to shout out Colt Eastwood for that, because Colt put out a graphic that he did, and he's known for, where I'll bring that up on the screen to, you know, obviously for context, I'll show you what I'm talking about, where Microsoft has 19 first-party games that are coming out versus what we know about Sony, and there are 9, including Spider-Man. And that's egregious. And if you're a Sony-only player, same way you said that to me and the Xbox Nation, you should be asking for better. You should be asking for a roadmap. You should be asking who's the new leader. What's the direction of PlayStation? Is it going to be Gas Station 5? Is it going to be Remake Station 5? Or is it going to be the quality control, you know, the quality that they're known for? Well, I don't know, because they're not telling you. And that's because I don't think that they have a direction. I've said this before. I think PlayStation is directionless. But look, we're going to get into it. Again, shout out to King David's of the Ironlords. Again, my brothers, my very good friends, all of them bring a lot of really great, energy to the show. That's on Sundays. Definitely get over there. They're 20,000 plus subscribers. I'll drop their link in there for you to go and subscribe, because listen, Ironlords is definitely that they should definitely be a part of your weekly listening if they're not already. And again, they don't need me to sell them, but this is what brothers do. So of course, because I use King David's Twitter, I want to give him the proper shout out as a king deserves, and he deserves that and a bag of chips. But let's get into Spider-Man 2, or Bugman 2, as Fuzzy Belvedere is saying. Folks, look, there are a lot of people that are putting out these videos. Some of them are Sony fans. Some of them are Sony streamers. Some of them are like our good brother J-Rock, who never excuses himself from putting Sony's on Front Street when they deserve to be blasted to outer space, and he's been doing a really good job with that. And listen, if there's smoke, well, there's fire. And unfortunately, like I said, I'll open up with me. My hour and 20-minute experience with Spider-Man has been the chef's kiss. I'm not going to shit on the game because everyone else is doing it. I loved how they opened the game with a recap. Now, if you are someone that watches serialized TV, like my wife and I do, especially when it comes to the Korean dramas that we are mad addicted to, they do like when a new season comes out, they give you a recap of the other season, because sometimes seasons take a year, 2 years to come out. And as viewers, we sometimes forget. So what Insomniac did, I thought was brilliant. They opened up with what happened in Spider-Man 2018, what happened in Spider-Man Miles Morales, and they started off with Spider-Man 2. I thought it was phenomenal. Okay. The opening battle, which I don't have recorded footage. I do have it queued. I just have to, I have to set it up. I have to put it pieces together. Was, I thought, phenomenal. I didn't have any bugs. I didn't get stuck in any walls. I didn't get, like I mean, they do teach you the buttons again, and I had to, for a second, just kind of relearn everything. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And like, I actually hit the map button like twice. You'll see it recorded on the footage, but for the most part, I had no bugs. But that's only an hour and 20 minutes. I want to go first to Fuzzy Belvedere on this, because he called it on the socials Bugman 2 or Buggerman 2, right? And King David specifically made mention of Metacritic. And I think what we are seeing is the Sony effect. I think the Sony effect is like in D&D, you have the +1 on your armor and your plus 1.5 somewhere else. It almost seems, and I don't think I'm being facetious here. I think I'm being quite honest, that what we have seen specifically in 2023 is the media has an absolute distaste for Xbox. Not just because Starfield is exclusive and they bought Bethesda, because, well, we all told Microsoft, you got to do better, right? And in 2017, they had 5 studios. 5 studios. Under Phil Spencer now, they have 44. 34 name studios, 44 with the support studios. Think about that for a second. 2017, 2023. Think about that, right? And Microsoft, unfortunately, is being punished for competing, which you Sony folks, asked Microsoft to do. You poked a sleeping bear, and now the bear scratched you. You're all pissed off. Well, don't poke a sleeping bear, or a giant, whatever analogy you want to use. And I think that it was real funny for a lot of community members and a lot of press members when the deal was originally blocked by the CMA. And here we are on the 20th of October, and Call of Duty is now first party. Now, it doesn't make a difference today, and it's not going to make a difference on November 10th, because it's going to stay multi-plat and it's not dropping into Game Pass. But I'm telling you right now, the clock starts November 10th for Sony as market leader. And I'm going to stand on this hill, and I'm going to plant my flag on this hill. Sony has got 12 months before they're no longer market leader. And I'm telling you that is going to happen, because by next November, when Microsoft drops the next Call of Duty, whatever it is, into Xbox Game Pass, the same normies that went out and bought a PlayStation 5 are going to be trading in their consoles, because the one and done games, even though they're for me, their single player games are for me. It's like they purposely said, boom, we're going to make games for you. I love them. I eat them up. And I own every one of them. And I beat most of all of them. Even some I even platinumed, because I love that kind of content. But that's not for everybody. And the normies, the casual audience, is going to see that they can go to the Xbox. And they can play FIFA. They can play Madden. They can play 2K. They can, oh, look at that. They can play Call of Duty. And most of those games are going to be in Xbox Game Pass or EA Play. And for $16.99, they're not going to have to give Sony these egregious price increase of $76.43 for their games for one game. And they're going to get their Call of Duty and their Fortnite and their Apex Legends and everything else on Xbox. 12 months. Sony has 12 months, folks. And the clock starts November 10th. That they're going to lose the death grip that they currently have on the industry. You're going to see. But we're here to talk about Spider-Man. Fuzzy, let's talk about it, because, again, there are some people using what's happening with Spider-Man, and they're going out of their way to, like, for instance, I don't know if anyone remembers The Driver, a game from, I think, 2012.
Yeah.
Right? That game, people are bringing back. Now, by the way, that game was effing dope. It was amazing. But it had where you could literally warp from one side of the city to the other by a press of a button. You'd be in the car, you'd bring up the map, you'd
Mhm.
press a place on the map, and it would go. And that was 2012.
Yeah.
Now, I'm no mathematician, Fuzzy. But that is 11 years ago. And Insomniac, as much as I love them, sometimes they over tout what they're doing for technology. And I saw
Mhm.
people comparing their big thing is, well, you could warp from Miles Morales to Spider-Man in a pull of a hair, and that was done 11 years ago on a
Yeah.
game on the Xbox 360. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, I still consider Sucker Punch the kings as far as for fast travel, because all things aside, Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4, you
Hmm.
could fast travel just as fast.
Yes, you could.
And
Yes.
I've yet to see a game for the previous gen move that fast. Now, there was always this debate about quick resume versus their super SSD, and quick resume hands down is the faster way.
Yep.
If it's a single player game. Online games, you're gonna have some problems, but that's where you can turn off quick resume for those games. But with the whole thing with Spider-Man, for me, I remember it was praised that they had a bug in Spider-Man 2018 when after your PS4 would start to heat up, you would swing to the left, swing to the right, and you would turn into a mailbox or a light pole or something odd that was like
I
a
do
random.
remember that. That was pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all the critics were like, "Oh, this is cool." But yet they used to do that same stuff for Bethesda back in the day. But this, for Starfield now, it's not so cool. Oh, look at those faces. Look at Oh, why is this happening? It's like I said it before when Star Wars got like its 10 out of 10 when it was in a horrible launch condition.
It was so bad, Fuzzy, that I stopped playing it and I never went back. Because I lost, because there's no traditional, hey, I'm here, let me save it, right? So if I can
Mhm.
save it, that means that I can save it where I want to save it. The problem with Star Wars, and I was out of my mind excited for this because absolutely love the character. I love the era. I love the lore. I love Star Wars, but the bugs were so bad that I lost an hour plus gameplay 3 times, like what happened with Horizon. And I
Mhm.
said, "This is crazy to me. How could I lose an hour plus gameplay? I'm not doing this again." You know what? I'll come back to it. Now, apparently, it's running phenomenal, which I'll get
Yeah.
back to it potentially next year. But you're right. That game got high praise. And a lot of people compared what happened to Starfield to Star Wars. Like, wait a second. This
Mhm.
game doesn't have bugs like that, and it's an 83. This had bugs in its game of the century.
But it's that Xbox tax that we always talk about.
The
And
Xbox tax is real. Yeah.
I know some people will point to, well, Forza Motorsport 7 got a 90 something, and Horizon got 90 something. And it's like a lot of times those scores seem to when happen for Xbox titles when they're not solely on Xbox, or when there's nothing on the other platform that's directly going head to head with it. So they're free to give it, 10 out of 10s at that point, because it doesn't take away from their preferred platform. But the minute that something could possibly steal the thunder away from their platform, they feel a little threatened. So it's like they automatically start deducting points. And I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that's conspiracy. That's hogwash, whatever."
It's
But
true.
but explain to me why something that when an Xbox game has a bug, it's like the end of the world. But when a PlayStation game has a bug, oh, it's enduring. This is kind of a feature kind of thing. It's like, I don't think that's how it works. You're supposed to judge the game based on the game itself. I mean, yeah, you could compare it to the previous 2018 and Miles Morales, but if it's already out the gate where people are walking around with their head in their crotch instead of on their shoulders kind of thing,
It's bad.
maybe this should have cooked a little longer.
Yep. Yeah.
I already made the commitment that I wasn't going to buy this until it goes on sale. There's already enough
You
games
said
for me
that
to
the other
play.
day. Good on you for staying strong, brother. I FOMO got me, brother. I'm not even gonna front. I got the controller. My plates got canceled. I'm very
Oh,
disappointed.
I
And
was
then
tempted to get
people,
the plates because I
it's
just got my
fine.
what do you call it? My Starfield wrap, but Yeah,
Yeah, I really wanted the plates for the game launch because I'm a nerd like that. I got
yeah.
I got the controller, but my plates got canceled. It's fine. I'll get them eventually. I'm not spending
Mhm.
$267 on eBay. I'll get them for the $69 that they are. I'll find them eventually. But yeah, it's a shame because that bug you're talking about with the head and the crotch, I
Mhm.
saw that. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, and whether you want to believe that it's quality control or if you want to believe that it's lack of paying attention or just the pressure that was on Insomniac, like let's be real, Insomniac has been carrying the PlayStation this generation. They've released basically 3 titles before some of their main studios release one. So I can understand them being under the gun, and then they have another one to deliver within the next year or two with Wolverine. So yeah, some things are going to slip by. I mean, some things even slip with Horizon Forbidden West, because I was one of the few people that bought it day one. Yeah, I bought the $60 copy and then upgraded or whatever, but it was still the PS5 version on my console. And then within the first 5 minutes, I forget the companion's name now, but he was following me and he was stuck in the water. He wouldn't get out of the water. I'm like,
That happened to me in the beginning. The guy that the guy that likes Aloy,
Mhm.
he would literally you would run, and he would just be stuck in the water. That was a bug that I had as well. Yes.
Yeah. And it was like I'm asking people on PlayStation, hey, anybody else experiencing this? Crickets. It's like they don't want to admit it. It's like,
Hmm.
you probably need to restart the game or reset it. I'm like, I played 15 to 30 minutes worth and I got to start all over. Awesome. So, and there were other ones where it was like if you did too many like special attacks, you would start wobbling and be frozen at attack position or something. I know Kayasante had a similar problem. He also had the almost like the game wipe bug,
He actually had
where
to reach.
like
He had to reach out to the team, and they thank goodness they were able to save him. Yeah, he had like 100+ hours, and he got hit with this bug, and like, my God, I think I'm going to lose everything.
yeah,
Thankfully, the actual team reached out to him and they were able to fix it because he was
yeah,
like, if I lose this, I'm quitting.
yeah,
And thankfully he didn't. He has an egregious amount of playtime. I think it's like 200+ hours in that. He really
yeah,
loved it. And you know what? Good on him, man.
yeah. I mean, there was a lot of it that I enjoyed in that game, and there was a lot that I've enjoyed in Miles Morales. But right now, I'm kind of more glad that I waited for the fact that if it's going to be buggy like this, just wait it out. It'll go on sale. There'll be people that finish it this weekend or next weekend and trade it in over at GameStop or whatever the case may be. Um, and I can pick it up for less. And hopefully by that point there'll be more patches to kind of fix some of these unusual falling through the map things. Like it's 2023 and we're still falling through the map. They said it about Starfield, but cricket's about Bugman or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's there's always this slight, it seems, when it's an Xbox title versus a PlayStation title. Like, let's just be real about the game. If it has bugs, talk about it. Don't just like, oh, well, I experienced a crash here and this and everything's fine, 10 out of 10. But another game has a bug. It's like, oh, they're still reusing engine and this is a dated game. And it's like, so how dated is swinging to the left and swinging to the right? I'm copying famous words of somebody that used to be an Xbox fan, but hey, it is what it is. But
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but it sounds very familiar. He has a raspy New York voice, I think you're talking about.
but yeah, it's a shame that it's in this condition. It's a shame that any game these days releases with numerous bugs at launch. Some are a bit more polished than others, and Starfield was that one that everybody expected to be extremely buggy and was a lot more polished than anything else Bethesda put out, and a lot more polished than Star Wars and apparently even Spider-Man at this point.
Yeah.
But the gaming media has already made up their mind about Xbox. They're mad and in their feelings about the whole ABK deal. They're still mad about Bethesda. I can only imagine that Elder Scrolls 6 could be the game that cures cancer, and they'll still give it a 7 out of 10 or lower.
It's
Just for the
already
fact of it
marked,
being
especially for someone like IGN. They're unhonorable or dishonorable, however you want to put it. the game doesn't come out for another 5 years, and it's a 7. It's a 7 in 2023, folks. I'm here to tell you. I don't care how good the game is going to be. Dan Stapleton is going to find a way to give it a 7 because that's just what he does. He promised us, he promised the world that there would be repercussions if Elder Scrolls 6 remained exclusive after Xbox bought Bethesda. He proved his point. He was a man of his word. I still think he's a coward, but
Yes.
you know, he's a man of his word. He gave it a 7. Congratulations, you won. And he's gonna give Elder Scrolls 6 a 7 as well. I'm telling you right now, the Xbox tax is real. And here's the other thing. And I'm going to go to Dave on this because, again, I don't want you to think that I'm not excited for Spider-Man. It's queued up, folks. It's right here. I'm ready to rock and roll. I cannot wait to get into it. I'm going to look, whether it's 20 hours, 30 hours, or 40 hours, I'm going to lap it up because I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm a Marvel stan, and I love Insomniac. But I'm not going to make apologies or excuses for them. Now, one of the things that was brought to light by Insomniac themselves, Dave, and this wasn't taken into account, but I can tell you, folks, if this would have been Starfield, there would have been people hanging from chandeliers to scream to the rafters that the game launched with no New Game Plus. New Game Plus is not available on a one-and-done game until December, supposedly. That, to me, is egregious. I mean, you know, when you start talking about the bugs that are really being put out there. And folks, here's the thing. The bugs that are now starting to show up on social media, normally when it's isolated, it's the same thing from a different angle on multiple streamers or people on the socials. That's not what's happening here, Dave. We are seeing way different parts of the game collapsing in on itself. And on top of that, no New Game Plus for what a lot of people call a Sony typical one and done. Now, they're not one and done for me. I put traditionally, I chase pitching farts and stuff like that. That I do all of those stupid side missions, you know, find all his bags, you know, take pictures of all the cool, tagging that's gone on in the city. I do all that stuff because I like these games and I'm a map guy and I'm not shy about it, and I don't apologize for it. I love, that's why I love their games. So I'll put easily 30 or 40 hours, maybe even more, because I'm probably going to try and platinum Spider-Man because I really do love their games. But I'm not going to make excuses that and again, I'm only an hour and 20 minutes in. I hope that I do not experience the same kind of ridiculousness with heads and crotches and getting stuck in the back of Brink's, moving trucks that you can't get out. And we've seen it, and there's quite a bit of it out there. Now, some people are trying to overexpose it because they're using his console war rhetoric, and I think other people are like, "Hey, man, what 91 versus what are we doing here?" And I think what you're seeing is the Sony effect. And that's that. I mean, Dave, I don't know. I'd love to hear what you have to add to this. Please, by all means, take it away.
Well, the market leader, Sony, so they have the bigger market share for now. And a lot of the sites that are focused in on, let's give it a good score. Let's give it a good. It's because they're feeding to the frenzy of PlayStation Nation, because PlayStation is the number one selling console right now, and they're giving them a lot more leeway and slack than they do someone who's not in first place, for the simple fact that they feel like that they have a bigger audience coming from PlayStation owners than they do from Xbox owners right now. So that's kind of the way that seems to I guess prompt their narrative from the start. They're like, put it this way, those review scores, I think Spider-Man automatically got a 10 out of 10 before they started playing it, for the simple fact that they were like, okay, well, as I play it, let's see if I find anything bad or not good. Then they'll dock down a little bit. And that really didn't seem to happen. Amazingly, they didn't get these bugs that now that the game is out and everybody else is getting. And there's a few people that said, "Oh, I haven't got that bug." Well, consider yourself lucky because there's more people that are getting bugs, and it's not to say you won't at some point than aren't. And I mean, every game has bugs. It happens, but the scale, the whole, I guess, playing field of fairness, Starfield, big open huge universe filled game, so many areas to go to, so many maps, so much content, so much amazing quest to go on, and it takes probably 100+ hours to really get through the main quest, not to mention another couple of 100 hours in side quest, and then to already have ready to go multiple plus, not just a game ending +1, but when you complete the +1, you have another level that you can basically open up in Starfield. I think that Spiderman, to be honest with you, since it is basically a 30 hours and done game as far as the main quest or any whole game pretty much, that they may have intentionally dragged their feet on the plus until later, till holidays, so the people that are playing it now will have a reason to go back to it once it drops, and they'll feel like they get more out of it, even though they're really not. And that's kind of the way I think their mindset's going. I'm not accusing anybody of holding something back, but maybe they're saying they're putting some more polish on it, some more things. And the bugs, they're real. I mean, I'd sent one to Boom. This was the one we've talked about in the green room. But I've, just searching, I found 10 more where people are like swinging, and they're swinging into close to a building, and they go into the building and they can't get out of it. And you can see the outside of the thing, and they're like, and had to restart the game. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Oh, Still Rain's in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, good. It's Still Rain. Welcome. We actually, if you missed yesterday, we had an epic conversation.
Great episode with you guys.
70 minutes. Steel Rain and I got a chance to talk about what Phil Spencer and his promises of bringing back, with respect, some older IPs. They're gonna do it with TLC, which is what you would expect. I mean, obviously, hearing from the head of Microsoft Gaming, that's wonderful news. He's going to go to the teams. He's going to find out what they want to work on. And of course, we got a crazy, awesome Halo Infinite conversation on how they could bring us non-Master Chief told single player stories. And we came to an agreement. And I think it was, again, if you missed the X Vlog Live yesterday, please check it out. We got a chance to talk about how moving forward, there is a Xbox world where an Unreal Engine 5 single-player, story-driven Master Chief game or side stories can be told, and Slipspace could just remain as it is for multiplayer. 2 different engines, 2 different teams. I think it works, and I think that's the way that they're going to do it. And mind you, not only is that exciting, we have no idea what Certain Affinity is working on, which is bonkers. Like, originally it was going to be, a gas, like a Fortnite type of thing with Halo. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Maybe they changed, they shifted, and maybe they're helping with the single player campaign, which Special Nick of Xbox Era, confirmed that is currently being worked on in Unreal Engine 5, which is amazing. But hey, let me get, yes, sir.
One quick last thing I want to say. Everybody in the chat, please hit the like button for Boom. Please, because this is an awesome show, and you definitely need to share the love.
Well, we're at 613 people here live on a Friday morning, which is amazing. So I would imagine, I mean, I've seen a lot of new names here. Obviously, I know that some people may walk away and be like, oh, it's just Spider-Man slander. I don't think that we don't do that here. This channel, we give the smoke where the smoke needs to be given. And sometimes that is Sony, because they put themselves, they're stepping on rakes, and sometimes that's Microsoft, sometimes that's Xbox, because they notoriously step on rakes. And we've talked about that here. We're not ashamed. We don't harp on it. We don't sell hate here. but these are conversations that are important to have, because I don't think because Sony's the market leader that they should be given a pass for a game that launched broken, because the same conversation will not be had when it comes to Xbox. And even if there's one bug versus Spider-Man's 10 bugs, the media and the anti-Xbox gaming community are going to go out of their way to point the finger times 10 to make you think that it's worse, because there is this invisible Xbox tax. I mean, you don't see it, but it's here. And there's been no better clear vision of that than 2023. Xbox is hitting on all cylinders. And a lot of people are very upset, especially in gaming media, Dan Stapleton and those California types. No offense to anybody in Cali, but they have this big business is bad, Microsoft is bad. How dare they compete because they have money? And when they start buying up stuff because they told that Microsoft to compete, now they're feeling a type of way. So I mean, it's I don't think it's been clearer than ever before. But at the end of the day, regardless of where you're playing, I do want to put the cherry on top of this. First delicious banana boat sundae that we have served up for you for topic one is that as a gamer, if you're like me and you support multiple consoles and multiple platforms, you are bathing in games. And I really want to just top it off with this. In a 5-day period, folks, and I know that I'm leaving some games out, but I'm looking at the bigs right now, right? In a 5-day, Monday through Friday, 5-block day, 5 blocks, you have what you see on your screen in Halo Infinite Season 5, which is masterclass level phenomenal. You have a new Sonic game, probably the best Sonic game in easily 5 years, maybe more than that. You have a new Mario game that is once again set the benchmark for what Nintendo does with Mario. It's just ridiculous. And Spider-Man 2, listen, yes, it has its bugs. I'm having a really good time, but again, I'm only an hour and 20 minutes in. I cannot wait to get back to it. No matter where you're playing, you're eating good. But look, hopefully you're going to stay around. You're going to listen to the rest of the show because we do have a lot to get into, as well as I do want to catch up on the Super Chat's been quite a few of them. So let me get to that before we get to topic number 2. And that we have the first one of the day comes to our good friend, Gerald Mack. And he says this after dropping a $5 Super Chat. After spending nearly $80 billion on ABK and BGS, we should be expecting marketing to ramp up. We're going to get into the marketing aspect because the marketing has ramped up, brother. He says word of mouth is not enough anymore. Xbox New World Order. We're going to get into it because I have a lot of finite points, specifically the Vegas Sphere thing. If you folks missed out on it, everyone's tweeting about it. It was the giant Xbox logo. It looked dope. And I mean, my God, that is what that's how you market, folks. We also have Drawn TJ, generous friend of the program. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, D-Batch is definitely starting to turn into a pony. Sorry, but it's sad saying Xbox needs quality games. Really? 80s and 90s are not good, I guess. And what he's referring to is D-Batch, who I have a tremendous amount of high praise and respect for, is a part of obviously RDX with Dealer. I know that the show has not had a couple of weeks because he had this big move, so he'll be back. So don't sweat it. He put out a tweet, criticizing Xbox. I'm not going to go into it. It's not a topic. He's entitled to his opinion. Drawn TJ, I appreciate what you're saying. If he's going full quote unquote pony, he can do it. I think Xbox has a ridiculous amount of quality games. Not only what did they release this year, but what they have coming out in the next year, the following year, and the year after that. Their roadmap is sick, and we're also going to get into that on the back end of the show because Colt Eastwood, like I said in the opening, did an amazing graphic, and it really does paint a very, very dim picture for PlayStation and shows off Microsoft really hitting on all switchers. I will bring that up for you so you can check it out momentarily. We also have Danny P drops a very generous $2 super chat. And welcome, Danny. Appreciate you being here. He says, I saw an NPC in Starfield that looked like Fuzzy. That is hilarious. Let's get that picture rolling. I can take a picture and let's get that rolling, Danny. That's awesome. Creative Monster drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, Spider-Man 2 Bug Snacks return. LOL. This is just for fun. I bought the deluxe edition, so I'm going to check it out this weekend. Also, love this show. I just love it. Triple blessings to Boom, guests, and chat. Brother, that's incredibly kind of you to say. And, of course, we love you back. I'm glad that you are enjoying the content. I love doing this. That's why I do it 5 days a week. This is my life. I work on the show 7 days a week, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's phenomenal. Ancient One drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, PlayStation fanboys poked the sleeping giant, and now they're crying because the giant shit on their chest. Oh my goodness. I mean, you know, this is look. I don't even have a response to that other than the fact that it is funny as all H. We have Jax82 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Insomniac has released a Ratchet and Clank game every year. I mean, they've released a lot of them, not technically every year, but they look. I'm going to tell you this right now. That last Ratchet and Clank is so a Boom game. I don't even know what to tell you. I never really cared about, the SSD gets you to warp, and that's just dumb. I like platformers because I'm old. And I love Ratchet and Clank, and I did not platinum that game. I didn't even beat it. I got to the end, and it's just not enough time in a day, but I will get there eventually. I loved it. I quite enjoyed it. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $20 super chat and says, Morning Boom. Last night, my 27-year-old son got me to do something I never thought I would do. I played the zombie mode on Outbreak and absolutely loved it. The best part is is that my PTSD did not kick in. I cannot wait for for Modern Warfare 3. Well, first of all, brother, that's good that you weren't triggered, because that's your health is the most important thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I'm buying Modern Warfare 3, not because it's going to get reviewed bad or it's going to be I think it's going to be quite a great game. I just don't have the time. I'm playing 5 games right now. It's sick. And that's not even counting what came out this week. I can't keep up. I literally cannot keep up with it. And I gotta finish the battle pass for Halo. It's so good. I just hit level 37 last night. I want to get that last armor, that last flood armor. It looks dope. I want to get that. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out, but it's gonna be tough. And I can imagine that. The world is collapsing in on itself, and we're worried about because there are too many games to play. What a life, right? And Michael Mooney drops a very generous £5 super chat. Mike, good morning, Michael. Thank you. Or actually, good afternoon, or closer to the afternoon, because you're in the UK. He says, with Hellblade 2 appearing in the Xbox trailer and the team releasing a new development video, Xbox has to be releasing Hellblade 2 soon. Yes, we are going to talk about the marketing. Specifically, we're going to make mention of that because, yes, in that marketing, they did show actually the real actress was a part of that video that does Senua. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think it's February, dude. Like, I really think that's dropping in February, and you're going to get a direct in this again. I have connections at Microsoft, but if even if I knew this, I wouldn't share it with you because it would be secret. But my thoughts from a fan's perspective, I think we get January. I think it's mid-January, closer to like maybe towards like the 3/4 mark of January. We get a direct for Hellblade 2, 40 minutes. Team's going to get out there. They're going to show us everything. They're going to show the combat you guys and gals have been asking for, unless we see some of that at the Game Awards, which I still think might get there. And then in February, they drop it. I think February is going to be the launch month for Senua. Again, that's just a stab in the dark. I have literally no connections to say that's true. It's just my theory. Dave, I I want to go to you next because the talk of the town, besides Spider-Man's egregious bugs, is Microsoft hitting on all cylinders. And yesterday they dropped this powerful video, or this advert, if you will, for
Mhm.
Power Your Dreams. And the female lead in the story that they're telling is, she's stuck in a cab. It looks like could be one of the big cities. I don't know if it's not necessarily New York City, but it's one of the big cities. She's stuck in traffic. She gets out of the cab, and it turns almost into like a Matrix kind of movie telling, a storytelling. And in this, I think it's like a minute and a half. I probably, you know what? Let me just pause this few. Why? I can
Play it.
do things.
You can
I'm
mute it.
going. Yeah, I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna have to mute it, unfortunately, because it is um licensed music, and I don't want to Power Your Dreams. I should have had this queued up. Shame on me, folks. Let me
It's all
see.
good.
Shame
Live
on
is
me. Let me
it's
just bring.
live.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. So I'm gonna bring this up. It's okay. Well, it's a bit lengthy. If you folks don't mind, let me know in the chat how you're feeling about this. It's 3 minutes and 7 seconds. If you want to see it, I'll cue it up so you guys can, we can use it as context
I can
for what
talk
we're
over it,
talking
dude. That's
about.
all right. Just play it.
Yeah, so let me just do the screen share. That's paused. Do that right now. And share. Okay, let me bring that up on the screen. And let me just press play. Here you go, folks. So yeah, we can talk over it.
Oh yeah.
This is powerful marketing. It's powerful for marketing because it tells us a real story in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And what's interesting, Web Dave, about the story that they're telling is it's showing all of some really big uh, Microsoft owned IP. And it also brings in a third party IP. Now, this people ran rampant with this. Like, wait a second, are they suggesting that CD Projekt Red is going to join Xbox? And I don't think that. I would tell you right now, if you think ABK is big, that would snap the world in half if The Witcher became first party. If Cyberpunk became first party, it's like game over, man. I mean, like game over. But I think that they have a really good partnership, and I think that's why that they're in there.
I
And
believe they had the marketing
they have
to the
they had the
original.
marketing for Cyberpunk when it released, and they also had the marketing for the DLC that just released, which I have bought it, and I don't know, man. It's just not enough time, man. I wish I could like clone myself so I could experience all these games and play them. It's just not the case. But
Maybe someday, boom, you'll get retired and you can actually play some game. Oh, never mind.
I am retired,
I
and I
know.
can't play games, which is sad. That's the sad part of it. So here's the Senua thing I was telling you about. And there's the actress. Obviously, that's not CG, folks. That's they're filming this. I think it's incredibly powerful. And you take this video and you look at what happened in the same day, Dave, where the Vegas Sphere has become the big talking point. It's a big
Mhm.
tourist attraction for Vegas. Like Vegas needed another giant light something. The midnight there looks like the daytime, for crying out loud.
Mhm.
But they had this big sphere that was the Xbox Sphere, and it opened up and it had Starfield and it had Motorsport and it had Hellblade. I'm pretty sure it had Hellblade. Am I wrong on that? It did have Hellblade. Okay, yeah, I did
Mhm.
see that. Okay, so it did. I wasn't wrong because I watched it, and it's you take these two particular things happening, and then you take like at the soccer match where they were printing out Game Pass codes on the footlongs. And then, of course, we see what's going on in Sydney with the, they're building
Train.
trains, having
Mhm.
all of these Starfield like painted on the whole train. This is very, very Sony esque, and they're hitting on all cylinders. Now, that's the commercial, folks. I'm gonna bring back in the Halo stuff. There is a specific point here that's pretty interesting. That again, shout out to Hazador Gaming on Twitter. He spotted this. I missed it. So if you watch it again, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch it again, towards the end of the story they're telling, when she jumps down from the ceiling, she's in front of 2 doors. And I believe it's the door off to the right. When she looks in, it's a younger her. And why it's interesting, and like I said, folks, this stuff gives me goosebumps because I'm a big old nerd. Her younger self is playing an Xbox 360 and Call of Duty is on the screen. And I think it's brilliant. Subtle, but absolutely astoundingly brilliant. Now, Gerald Mack in the chat had said something pretty interesting. He wants to see marketing turned up to 11. My question to you is Microsoft doing that now? Web Dave.
Yes, they are. Sorry, so I wasn't sure when you were in the question. Yes, they are, and they're just getting started. Boom. This isn't even the holidays, or I mean, just wait till closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, dude. And there's still so many games coming to Game Pass between now and the end of the year. Some of them we don't even know about yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's, I believe, a few more titles that might be coming out. And, you know, plus with the game show coming up, oh man, when they have the Game Awards coming up, and you can now talk about a first party exclusive game from Activision / Microsoft. Yeah, there's a, you know, they have like 2 or 3 games from what we understand, or had in development before the purchase, and now that it's purchased, it's Xbox's games that are that are going to be dropped, and they're going to be a lot of exclusives. Yeah, there's going to be some some cross-gen stuff, but if you think the exclusives are over, wrong. Game Pass is going to grow and grow and grow, and the advertising level now is great. But this is just this week. This is just all the stuff that's discovered over the last, since the ABK deal has closed, pretty much, as this has come up. I mean, how many weeks we got until Christmas? And there's going to be some kind of special around Black Friday for console bundles. There's going to be, and as soon as they're able to, contractually, that there's going to be bundles with Call of Duty.
Indeed.
And there's going to be, Call of Duty in Game Pass. And, all you need is this system and a subscription, which will give you 3 months. They have a new bundle already, 3 months included, a Game Pass.
Yep.
I think I'm just telling you all that kind of stuff. And like we talked about before, and like places like GameStop have done it. They have these stickers that are like, as soon as Black Friday announcements are there, and if they put in these special codes or stuff for free games or add-ons for free games, they just slap a sticker on the existing boxes.
Yep. Cut
the seal, drop the code in, put a new seal on it, so that when it sells at retail during the holidays, it is it's going to be big.
Yeah,
this is going to be a big holiday. And
we're only in October. Yes, we're towards we're getting towards the end of October for sure. Today is the 20th. There's only 13 more days. 13. My God, 11 more days of the month. But the holidays are coming. Black Friday is going to be here before you know it. I think Dave's onto something here, because again, we don't know contractually where it ends and starts for Sony. Like, Sony had continues to have the marketing rights, but I think that that 10-year deal might the new signed deal, I should say, might negate the old deal. If it negates the old deal, I think Dave is, and I didn't actually think about this, Dave, maybe Call of Duty doesn't get into Xbox Game Pass this year, and that's fine if it doesn't. But just imagine, Dave, and I really want you to drive this point home. if at some point during the holidays they have this 3 months of Xbox Game Pass included in the Series S and the Series X, but on every purchase, we've seen this before, they include a copy of Modern Warfare 3. Bro, that is just crazy. You want to talk about marketing? Wow.
Yeah. And you know something else? Watching PM in the PM Pong and Mav show last night, which was absolutely phenomenal and must watch.
I got to finish it. I had such a busy morning, but I love what they're doing over there.
Oh man! But they both have played the newest update to Diablo, and they are raving about the new season that just dropped and how great it is and how much faster, more fun it is, and how the drops are just any kind of tweaks that they thought, you know, oh, the seasons are, they have fixed all of that apparently according to them, and they have just absolutely loved getting in and playing for hours and hours and hours, and they can hardly wait to get back to it. They were like, as soon as the show's over, we're going to go back and play some more. So you know that's going to be exciting. And now that's also, you know, first party Xbox. So those, you know, that, and that's a game that's actually had the marketing for, because they had a bundle, you know, with the game in the system, you know, and I guarantee you, because I think you got yours the other day, and I believe maybe Fuzzy did too, the new wraparounds, right? For, you know, okay,
I got mine. Yeah, it's dope. It's so easy to put on too. It's literally it's perfect. It's so perfect. It's sick.
Yeah, well, just get ready for the Diablo ones that are going to be coming. You know they got them in the work, and they're gonna have Call of Duty. They're gonna have all these great franchises that they now own. You know, can be done into a massive bundle. I mean, it's good. It's really good ecosystem, and the best thing about all this, Boom. I know we're talking about the marketing stuff, but the best thing is that they're not done.
Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close. Literally,
so much money to spend.
They haven't even hit the tip of the spear. And I think ultimately that's probably why PlayStation is in a tailspin. That is why they're leaderless. Their quality control under Jim Ryan. I mean, listen, you can say, you know, there are a lot of people defending the Jim Ryan era of 4 years, and they can say, oh, you know, Jim Ryan, he sold a lot of consoles. Yeah, good on you. But if that's all you're going to do, then that's not going to be a great legacy. You know, but we're not here to talk about Jim Ryan. We're here to talk about the marketing. I do want to bring in Fuzzy Belvedere. Shout out to Cyrus Trent UK. Trent, welcome to the program, brother. Hopefully you are subscribed and enjoying the content. And he says, think they should drop the price of the Series X and S with the Call of Duty bundle. Oh, dude, 1,000%. Because the numbers came out for the UK, and you know, Microsoft got clobbered again. Sony number one. I think Sony was up. It was a ridiculous amount of, and then I think it was Sony, it was Nintendo, and it was Microsoft. And Microsoft, I think, we lost like 127%, whatever it was in sales prior to the month before. They definitely need to do more marketing. They definitely need more help in the UK. And great point. If they would lower the bundle price of both consoles and somehow include Call of Duty, which they could eat that. You know, it's Microsoft. They're a trillion-dollar company. They could move the needle. It's going to be interesting to actually see what they do. But that's a fantastic point. Fuzzy Belvedere, look, Dave brought up an amazing point, which I did not even consider, that they own Call of Duty. They could easily. Maybe they can't do it now because they didn't have the time, or contractually, we don't know what it says, but there's nothing saying that they can't drop a Call of Duty code into everybody's purchases of an Xbox Series X and S during the holiday, which is brilliant. Yeah. But I want to talk about the now, because that commercial yesterday came out of completely nowhere, and it was amazingly done. Like, it was really, really, really well done. Tells a story. It's 3 minutes long. It includes all of their first party IP, some ones that are not games that are not even out yet. And on top of that, it has a massive third party banger like Cyberpunk in there. I mean, and again, when you look at what happened in the same day with the Vegas Sphere, look what happened at the soccer match, look what happened in Sydney. It seems their marketing is hitting on all cylinders. Are you happy with where they are, or do you think they need to turn it up to 11 even further?
I think they are in the process of turning it up to 11. Like we always talked about, oh, they should have things on a bus or a train or at some sort of sporting event and things like that. And the commercial debuted, I think, at what was it, like Thursday Night Football or something along those lines. So they are turning it up to 11 at this point. And we'll see further commercials and things like that between now and the holiday. I don't expect them to take their foot off the gas pedal anytime soon, but it goes to show that, I guess they were kind of trying to time things right. I mean, after the ABK acquisition, now is the perfect time to kind of now, show everybody some of these IPs that you now own, and those that may not be familiar or pay attention like we do as far as gaming news, they'll now know, oh, well, they showed Cyberpunk. Yeah, they had the marketing rights. They don't necessarily own them, but they had the marketing rights. Call of Duty they do own, but I'm pretty sure they couldn't show like the new Call of Duty just yet. Contractual stuff that will probably expire next year, whether it be the beginning of the year or around this time next year. But they definitely wanted to drive home some of their first party, most anticipated games, ones that were just released, as well as one probably the next one that's going to be released, and show that this is a place where you have a lot of options as far as games. And them doing that Sphere in Vegas, the train in Sydney, the soccer match where they had stuff on the field and things along those lines, like all of those things coming together goes to show that now we're going to see what this $1 trillion company is capable of. We already saw the acquisitions that they released. We've seen the better quality control on most of the games released this year. One exception, but that one even got a follow-up patch that now kind of rights some of the wrongs. But overall, they're now moving forward with their plan to reach 3 billion gamers. And, next step we will probably see is something mobile related as well. They have that, I think it was like a Skyrim mobile, almost like the Bethesda, like almost like the Fallout version that they had that was mobile. They have a Skyrim one now, like castles or something like that.
Yeah, and no one talked about that. Like, and apparently it's doing very well on mobile, which is it's funny. A lot of people during that Phil Spencer interview gotten their feelings that Phil Spencer said he's going to visit King first and kind of feel like he's not really paying attention to game, console. Shut up. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, do you want Sega? Of course they have to pay attention to King because King is going to pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the shiniest new toy, and he's got to, like, that's the one that they're probably least familiar, or at least the segment they're least familiar with. Sure, they've released like Gears of War Pop. Sure, they've released like Forza Street and a few others, but not all of them landed like they had hoped. So why not visit the ones that are considered the experts in that field first to kind of get an idea to see if that's going to be enough, or hey, we do need to pick up Sega right away because of Rovio, or we do need to consider Square because of their presence in the mobile aspect. So I'm not worried about it, considering the games that they've been releasing this year and the ones that are scheduled for the year to come. But visiting mobile, if that helps pay the bills and makes it easier for first party to do more creative things, so be it. And plus, who wouldn't mind having like a Starfield mobile game, and a lot more people play Call of Duty mobile than the regular Call of Duty.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah, it's pretty bonkers how many people. And I'm actually going to pull up the stats. The amount of people, and I don't know who these. I'm assuming they're kids because they grew up. They came out of the womb with a phone in their hand, are playing Call of Duty mobile. And it's a significant amount of people per month that play this game versus the actual console. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was mobile is number one for Call of Duty, and then PC, I believe, and PlayStation, and then like Xbox or the consoles in general. But if you were to combine PC and consoles, it's about 3/4, I think, of what it was on mobile. It was something ridiculous to the point where it's like, yeah, go to King, figure out some things. If that helps pay some bills for more stuff for Xbox to expand into, whether it be a future handheld or something like that as well, by all means, go ahead. Because I think they already secured the funding for our single player and multiplayer games that we enjoy on console and PC. So, but yeah, they're definitely their marketing is stepping up. I'm pretty sure Aaron is smiling from ear to ear at this point. Um, More power to the marketing team that's working with them as far as with Bethesda, and we all know how well the marketing team was doing as far as for ABK. So almost like I get this like sound in my head about like the Power Rangers, or not Power Rangers, but Captain Planet. Like with our powers combined, it's like nothing's going to stop
But
him this go around.
people got to be old to appreciate what he just said. I watched that on TV, folks. I'm old. Oh my God, I love it. Look, at the end of the day, this is what, as Xbox fans, we've been waiting for, right? Microsoft, whether you consider, maybe they were playing coy. Maybe they realized that the only way they were going to get ABK was to play possum. Maybe that's why 2022 was as lackluster as it was. Now, granted, 3 games got delayed. 3 major games got delayed, and I'm sure that we're all glad that they did. Redfall specifically, and Redfall is really good right now. Someone actually said that they played in co-op, and it's really good. It's running great, and the vampires are scary because now you go 1-on-1, you can handle it. You go 3-on-1, 5-on-1, you're dead. That's it. I put another, I think, 12 or 15 hours into after the patch. I have 80 hours in that game. I'm not ashamed to say it. I freaking loved it. Doesn't mean it wasn't broken, and it still needs some work. I just hope that there is enough interest, both through the community and at the team, that they want to revisit this and give it a real AAA kick in the ass, so to speak, and come out with a sequel that just destroys the original one tenfold. Graphics, gameplay, everything. But we won't know, right? Until we know. But I do want to move on to the third topic, folks. This one is a really good one, and it does paint a very dim picture, and it's not console warring. Colt Eastwood put out a graphic, as he's done numerous times, because he's incredibly talented like that. I have it queued. I'm going to bring that up in a hot second because I really want you to see it for context. It's crazy what Microsoft has in the chamber versus what Sony's got going on. And this is why Sony's afraid. This is why Sony's in disarray. This is why Sony is in a tailspin. But before we get to there, let me catch up on the super chats. Let's see where we are. We have okay, so we're up to date except for Cedric H, who drops a ridiculous and very generous $20 super chat and says, it would be cool if they got From Software to remake Nightmare Creatures. And as much as I love that pick, for me, if I'm Phil Spencer and I'm going to be in Japan, I'm stopping by the studios at From Software, and I'm going to sit down with them, and I'm going to say, okay, you're talented AF. Your last couple of games, all they do at From Software is win, and we want to partner up with you. Who in the chat right now, raise your hand, does not think that Phil Spencer should reach out to them and say, okay, we will pay for all the development, we will publish the game, you just do what you do, you win, so we win, and let them remake Tenchu. Let them remake the original Tenchu, which Microsoft owns the rights for 1, 2, and 3. They just don't own the character because they own the character. Partner with From Software. Let them go back to their roots and deliver a remade Tenchu on a level of a Ghost of Tsushima. AAA. Let them have all the time. I don't care if the game takes 5 years to come out. Here's money, go. Like that Netflix thing with the money. So here's a bag of money, go. That's what I would do if I'm Phil Spencer, because you publish it, you fund it, you let them take as much time. It's an exclusive to your brand, and it's Tenchu. It's freaking Tenchu. Are we kidding me? Of course we want a Tenchu. And the original is the OG. It's the GOAT. So why not get that remade by From Software? Let's do it. But let me cue this up here. And thanks to Dave who threw this into our private chat here. Let me just bring that up. Where is that? That is the Colt Eastwood. There we go. Okay, so Colt Eastwood. I'm bringing this up on the screen for you folks, you fine folks to see. I'm going to pause this footage. I think this is like 2.5 hours of Halo, so I think we can let it keep going. Yeah, I'm just going to let it keep going in the background. But I'm going to, like we did a couple of times already, in real time, share the screen so you guys and gals can get what I'm putting down here. And here we go. Okay, so if you can see what I'm seeing, and I know I wear glasses, and I know that I'm an Xbox first kind of guy, but you got to call a spade, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this comes the way of a very good friend of mine, Colt Eastwood. He's incredibly talented. He has 150,000 subscribers, and well-deserved. He makes some of the best and most stout videos in the entire gaming circle that we all run around in. And he has this graphic here, folks. And I want to read it. And I'm going to go first to Fuzzy on this. Fuzzy, this is telling. This is telling because a couple of last generation, the roles were reversed, right? Microsoft was on the right, Sony was on the left. That has now changed. This is the roadmap. And what's interesting, Fuzzy, is the gaming media will not talk about this. Most of the time, people like Game Rank and Game Rant and VGC and IGN, they'll see a tweet like this, and if it's pro Sony, they will quote them. They will add the link in their story. Look at the amazing games coming out for the PlayStation. Oh my God, we're eating good over here in PlayStation land. And as great as this depicts the future of two platforms going in complete opposite directions, not an effing peep from anyone. Well, except for Double Barrel Gaming, where this is the kind of talk we like walking with. Yeah. So I'm going to read verbatim the games that are coming out for Xbox versus the roadmap for PlayStation. And I'm going to rest my case, and I'm going to leave it up to the jury, which, of course, is the chat. For Xbox, South of Midnight, Clockwork Revolution, Hellblade 2, Project Mara, Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, Fable, Everwild, Perfect Dark, Modern Warfare Moving Forward, Indiana Jones, Flight Sim, Contraband, Towerborn. Let's see what this one is over here. Age of Mythologies, Stay of Decay 3, Aura, which is of course RTS, the Kojima Project, which has no name right now, Project Odyssey, and Elder Scrolls 6. Now, mind you, this is not taking into account the Killer Instinct project that they're working on. This is not taking into account the potential 2 open world space games coming from Treyarch and Infinity Ward, right? That are being rumored to be very Mass Effect-esque, right? This is bonkers. Now let's read the PlayStation roadmap, and it's spooky. It's Halloween month, so yeah, it's spooky, folks. Spider-Man 2 released today. We talked about that. You can call it Spider-Bug-Man 2, whatever you want to call it. I'm enjoying it, but I'm only an hour and 20 in. We'll see if I get any of these egregious bugs. Concord. Okay. I mean, I'm not sold on it. Fair Games. Definitely not sold on this. In fact, it was my biggest disappointment from Jade Raymond's new studio. I thought she was going to do what she does best and tell a single-player story. this is just a payday ripoff. Helldivers 2, a lot of people are excited for that. Much different than the original one, which was a top-down, very difficult shooter, twin stick shooter, versus what this could have legs. Marathon. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It's Bungie. I'm sure it's going to be good. Zero interest for this game whatsoever. Let's see. What is this called here?
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. That's what it is. Stellar Blade, which again looks really good. I'm excited to play that. I'm looking forward to that. For me, tip of the spear is the Rise of the Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
That looks ridiculously good, and that's an exclusive. I think it's a permanent exclusive. Yes, and yes for me. Wolverine, it's Insomniac. Come on, folks. It's gonna be good. I know Spider-Man is, it's getting its punches in. I get it. The bugs are terrible. Wolverine is gonna be dope. It's Insomniac, it's Wolverine. It's gonna have X-Men in it. Come on. And of course, Death Stranding 2. I didn't think I was gonna like the first one, and my brother bought it for me. I put 60 hours into it. I absolutely loved it. Phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to this. But Fuzzy Belvedere, I mean, let's talk realities. Let's talk realities. PlayStation, they've had the worst year in brand history. 2023, folks, has been the worst year in PlayStation history for hardware, for software, for leadership, for giving back to their fans. The worst year in PlayStation history. I have a list, folks. If I break it down for you, you're going to be like, boom, where did this come from? I can't believe this. It's that bad. Let's talk about this roadmap. Two platforms going in two different directions, Fuzzy.
Yeah. Well, you forgot that Sony Secret Showcase that the insiders always keep telling us about.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. That's coming in November, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or
sure.
maybe it's the Game Awards. I'm not sure.
No, but there are some Sony ones that are missing from here. Obviously, some of them are multi-plat, like your MLB The Show, and your remaster remix of The Last of Us 2, I guess, and the remaster of
Horizon,
and
yep.
At some point GT7's got to come to PC, so I guess you can count that again. But yeah, it's the thing that a lot of PlayStation cats always used to brag about is that we know that these games are going to be quality and we know what games are coming. Like they would always have that, the Showcase of Dreams, and it's like 16 games 4 or 5 years out kind of thing. And now they're not doing that because they've tried to put all their chips into this games as a service deal, be at the last minute. Hopefully some of these succeed, because if they don't, and you leave a lot of your first party studios to, kind of focus on this, although we're hearing factions may be canceled, and, the efforts are now being put towards the remaster of, Last of Us 2, which came out 3 years ago. But, and nonetheless, it's definitely a flip of the script. Like, the people that still say Xbox has no games either can't count or purposely acting like they're blind or stupid or something. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But it's funny to me that list that you have for Microsoft is only the ones we know the actual names of. There's there's like a handful of projects that we know about that aren't on that list. And then there's some sequels that we know are probably in the works per recent rumors that aren't on that list. So there's potential of, Halo, like a battle royale mode, certain affinity, probably. Also hearing rumors of, story content or new Halo possibly being in the works as well. You know that there's going to be a Forza Horizon 6 at some point. You know that there's going to be a Gears 6 at some point. You know that there's going to be a what do you call it, Wolfenstein 3 at some point.
Another Doom. I mean,
another Doom. There's a lot of things there that aren't there that we know are in the works. I mean, you have 44 studios that some of them are broken up into multiple teams, and each team is working on either extended content or a whole new IP or a new version of, or like a sequel to a new game. So it it's starting to add up. And all those that were like, oh, acquisitions are stupid, and it's like, well, this is the fruits of it. Sure, Sony did some acquisitions, but one of their acquisitions was a PC porting studio, which I guarantee you they're working overtime at this point trying to get these things on the PC so they can make those sales. And then when it comes to some of the other studios that they acquired or that they were working with, some of the projects seem to have either been shuttered or greatly reduced or scaled back or what have you. Whether it's there was I think there was another gas game that was supposed to be some sort of like futuristic one as well, not necessarily in space, but haven't heard about that. And I think that was
I think that one got canceled, dude. I think that one got canceled as well. They canceled like 2 or 3 of their 12 announced gas games. Yep.
Yeah, and KOTOR is canceled pretty much at this point. Factions as well. But it I don't know. I look at it this way, like, just like I used to ask, like, hey, where's the sequel for Rise 2 or Quantum Break 2 or something like that? Although we all understand why some of those were not going to come to fruition, but we asked for, additional games. Like, yes, we enjoyed our Forza, Halo, and Gears, but we were asking for more, and we got more. We got a lot more. Sea of Thieves was one of those, and I know a lot of people clowned it in the beginning, but it's got legs to it. And the same thing with Grounded. It's got legs to it. A lot of people are playing it. It's continuously being supported because there's a lot of people playing it. So in the process, we got more games that we asked for, but with PlayStation guys, they're not really asking. If anything, they're complaining about stuff going to PC. It's reducing the value of my plastic box. It's like, come on. At some point, you have to either wake up or look over and say, okay, we understand that they probably are making a Ghost of Tsushima 2, but when are they going to talk about it? Is it going to be in the same location, or are they scrapping that all together like they did with the whole Days Gone? Oh, Days Gone didn't score high enough, so they're not going to make that. Even the former director was saying, well, if it got green lit, it would have been one of those games that could have come out this year. So you would have more than one, first party game that's an exclusive. And yes, I don't count MLB as an exclusive because obviously we get it in Game Pass, but it's just funny to me that, looking at where Sony is at right now, and there's so many questions or assumptions that, oh, well, they'll just make a sequel of this or they'll remaster that. And it's like, at some point, you should ask for clarification. Like, is the Uncharted series completely done? Like, was that experiment with the additional characters a test that didn't work, or are we just not going to do that anymore? Are they only going to be doing Last of Us related stuff, or are they going to do a third IP, shelve Uncharted, do Last of Us, and then whatever this new IP is? Is there any evidence that they're working on a new IP?
Dude, why not continue the story with his daughter, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm an Uncharted stan here. I beat every one of those games back, forward, and sideways, and on the PS3, and beat them again on the PS4. I'm here for a return of Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
But I'm here for a potential. See, this is where, folks, you should be concerned if you're a Sony fan. Old Sony would have had it queued that the next Uncharted, even though it would have very similar aspects, could easily fast forward the story. I don't know, when they introduce his daughter, maybe 10 years, and they can tell her story with the help of the mom and the dad, or of course will be older. And the way the game ended, Uncharted 4 ended with an open door. Hey, we could come back to this, and it's gone. Yeah. It's nowhere to be found. It's ridiculous. The old Sony, folks, is gone, Fuzzy.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that with no Resistance, no Twisted Metal. Like those are IPs that they should actually call back on for their games as a service.
For your gas games. No Twisted Metal for your gas games. Just ridiculous.
So it's nice to see that Xbox has come so far beyond the Forza, Halo, and Gears, well, it wasn't annual, but like that whole series of games that were coming out. Sure, we enjoyed them, but now we have a lot more to dive into, a lot more to look forward to, and a lot of surprises around the corner. Like Hi-Fi Rush was that surprise that was a pleasant one that nobody was really expecting. Sure, we heard, oh, Tango's making some sort of like Jet Set Radio-ish game, but still, the fact that that was able to like stealth drop out of nowhere, and that's not going to be the last time they do that. There's going to be plenty more games that they do that over, the next couple of generations. It's nice to see. Is Sony going to try to do something like that with a Ghost of Tsushima 2, or are they going to try to do that with another, Infamous or something along those lines? It'd be nice to see, but it'd be nice to see something other than, a portable handheld as opposed to games. Like we always used to get clowned about, oh, they make more controllers than games. Well, look at PlayStation. They make more peripherals than games. Literally. Like,
and they're
what are they doing?
peripherals that are expensive to develop and sell, and they fail. And on top of that, yeah, that's another finite point. I remember the stories. I have like 25 controllers, folks. I'm not fronting. I love controllers. I only have 2 hands, but I like collecting controllers. Okay, so I'm a big nerd. What can I tell you? But Sony, again, this is why PSVR 2 DOA, baby, gone. I didn't buy it because they screwed me on VR 1. All my games that I spent, I supported that system because I've not only bought the original, but bought the update with the HDR pass through like a moron. And you know what Sony did to me? They bent me over.
Yeah, I mean, right now I was considering it for a while. Like I have 2 Series X's, and the other one is not. It's not being put to use. My primary one in this room is. The other one downstairs isn't. So I was like, oh, I'll just trade it in, get a PSVR 2, and then Quest 3 came out, and I think that's the route.
Ate its lunch. Its lunch.
So it's
Quantum Turbo yells pause. Yes, I should have did a pause after that. My mistake.
No, but
my mistake, Quan.
No, but a lot of PlayStation fans, like I've seen 1 or 2 start to say, "What are they doing?" kind of thing. But those are the same ones that are like, "Jim, don't leave." So it's like, I don't know. I just, as far as PlayStation right now, just make sure you make a Ghost of Tsushima 2 and put GT7 on PC. Whatever else happens, I'm at the point where I don't care, because it doesn't seem like they're listening to, about SOCOM or do like a arcade racer, like beat what do you call them? Forza Horizon to the punch and go into Japan. That would be an easy win for them. But
it's a tremendous win.
It's too much work. So it is.
I would love to see. There are 2 things that I would love to see Sony bring back. And one is motorsport. Not motorsport, MotorStorm.
Yeah.
MotorStorm, folks, is to this day it's the racer. One of the best racers on PlayStation to date. God tier level on PS3. Phenomenal. Why that hasn't come back, I don't know.
Well,
here's another one.
They closed the studio though.
I know, but I'm just saying that they own the IP. You can build a racing studio, for crying out loud. It's not very expensive to do. And they can even make a smaller. You know what? I know I'm going to get shunned for this, but it's because I'm a fan. I would even pay for a remaster just to play that game on a PS5. I throw the tomatoes, folks. It's fine. I know I'm part of the problem.
I'd probably be part of the problem as well. I enjoyed it too.
I would pay the $76.43 for that. MotorStorm is God tier level racing for Sony. And here's the other one. And this to me seems like a little bit of a lob. Like this is like, you hit the pinata 3 times for your son or your daughter, and they hit it on their first time, and all the candy breaks open, and they think they're like the champions. This is where the F is siphon filter. Like, are we serious? Like, it is. Sam Fisher's gone, folks. We have no idea. He missed an entire generation, may even miss another one. We have no idea when he's coming back. You mean to tell me that in the cards, because the people have been asking for it, there's no siphon filter revival? Like, are you freaking kidding me? But this is what I'm talking about, folks. Sony is a wounded animal. They've been defanged. Yes, they're market leader on October 20th. Yes, they're selling hotcake systems. Great, but you know what? They're not making any money on consoles. Well, yes, they are, because they're robbing people for paper clips, stands and stuff like that. So they are making money. Let me walk that back. Look, Fuzzy dropped it like it was hot. I think I added a lot of finite points to it. Let's talk about roadmap, because again, last generation roles were reversed, right? Sony was on the left, Microsoft was on the right, and the gaming media and the PlayStation concern trolls pointed at the screen and said, you Xbox, you need to ask for better. And Microsoft needs to be better to their fans, because they were concerned about us, right? They wanted to make sure that we're okay.
Oh, they're so worried about us.
Absolutely. And now, obviously October 20th, 2023, ABK is closed. They own Bethesda. They basically have Modern Warfare 3 locked up. Now, granted, it's going to be on multiple platforms, and why shouldn't it? Because it's going to print money. What they make on Modern Warfare 3 mobile and console, and what they do with King, are going to pay for Sega, folks. They're going to pay for their studios. Same way Sony was using all of that Call of Duty money to pay for their first party, which they don't have anymore, right? Let's talk about roadmaps, brother. What does it look as bleak as some people in the chat are suggesting? Because I think it does. I think this what you see in front of you, thanks to Colt Eastwood, Mr. 150,000 subscribers plus, his graphic tells a really great story for Xbox gamers and a really poor, sad story for PlayStation gamers. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, they were, Sony fanboys were worried about Xbox before, concerned, because they wanted to, keep us going so that they would have some kind of competition. Yeah. And now they're worried about us even more, because Microsoft is doing everything right. They have got their, let's face it, shit together, and they are focused. Phil's focused. I sent you a link to Phil at King, but just to talk about it, that
I peeped it. Yeah.
He appeared, at King. The photo of and stuff there is he talked to both the big studios, at King, which mobile is a huge part of Microsoft and Xbox going forward. And there's some people in the chat, some people that even commented on the post saying, I don't like mobile. The mobile's, the hurting, if it wasn't for mobile and its growth, gaming wouldn't be as big as it is now. And it's a big part going forward. It may not be for you. It's not really for me, but that doesn't mean that, gaming is gaming. And if you are in video games, all levels mean something to everybody. My wife's a big component of mobile, as I can contest to all the time she's spent money on Monopoly Go with her friends. Oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah, I was like, oh honey, yeah, I might buy a game this year. Oh, I don't know, I don't spend money on games. Really? You spent over $200 in the last 2 months on that game. But it's crazy. But the roadmap coming up, man, it's and this isn't everything. And to be clear, this is, first party studios. So I know some people are disappointed that we don't have Baby Steps on there, because that's
game of the century, brother.
Oh,
that's gonna take a
carry Sony forward one baby step at a time. Oh, fall flat on your face again. Sorry.
In the mud.
But
that mud looks real though. I'm not gonna.
It does. Oh, in the ray tracing.
Ray tracing mud. Look out.
Amazing. But yeah, no. Just slander aside, it's it's is Microsoft gonna jump to first place instantly? No. Over time, can they? Yes. And this is the path to get that done. And they're not done. And they have more stuff coming. Like I said, the game's officially announced. I mean, somebody called out too that, where's Killer Instinct on there? Well, I'm not sure what
we're actually going to talk about Killer Instinct on Monday's show, because Jez Corden did. And again, I've been trying to get to this story. It's just been so much. He did a story about because they're rebooting Killer Instinct.
for sure.
That's confirmed. That's confirmed fact. And I believe they've already purchased Iron Galaxy. I don't have the documents in front of me.
Speculation. We believe so.
Oh no, they're purchased because they said they're going to work on Killer Instinct for the next 10 years. And I'm going to tell you why they're purchased. Because when they left Killer Instinct Season 3, Microsoft was basically stuck with, holy shit, what do we do now? That's not going to happen again. Killer Instinct deserves to be at EVO. Killer Instinct needs to run with the big dogs in Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken and Soul Calibur, and it can. That's why they're already purchased. They just haven't announced it yet, and I believe that's going to be the case. But the story that we're going to cover is Jez Corden's insertion, pause, did a quick pause right there, of what characters from Activision will be making their debut there. Right off the top, bring the cat in from Prototype. Let's get him in there. That would be dope. But I have a whole bunch of others. So I can tune into Monday's new episode of course, the Xbox lunch break special at 12 p.m. But please continue there, Dave.
Yeah, no, but with that too, I mean, it's endless what they can throw in that game. Crazy how much they get. I mean, you know, it was great having
Master Chief, Senua. It's just
a whole new level of Killer Instinct could absolutely be amazing. But back to the roadmap ahead, you know, and I'm sure there's gonna be probably something, and I don't know what, but you know, and it could be way out before it actually drops. But there's probably going to be something announced at the Keeleys, the Game Awards from Sony, that's going to be, you know, first party, presumed to be, you know, potentially a banger, whatever they want to call them. But, you know, but for right now, we don't know any of that. And I guarantee you, this year at the Keeleys, you're going to have at least 5 more on this officially announced first party games coming, announced from Microsoft. That is a definite guarantee from what we already know. That's
quote, 007 game is not there. Project Dragon's not there. Let's see. Certain Affinity's new Halo game isn't there. I mean, folks, we could logistically, without even trying, fill up the bottom bar and wipe away where it says 20 games in just snap of a finger. So that just goes to show you that there's literally, like, what Colt Eastwood did here is paint such a definitive picture of the us versus them, or PlayStation versus Xbox. And it's daunting. It is daunting that Microsoft, specifically thanks to Phil Spencer's leadership, Dave, that they have been able to put forth this ridiculous roadmap. And that's not even including what we don't know is they're being worked on. It's just crazy.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, there's and like some people have said in the chat, you know, we hear rumors that Sony's working on a Killzone and SOCOM. I mean, they should be. If they're not, they're stupid.
Right.
Well, let's be honest. You know, but are they going to be gas games? You know, so who knows how that works out for them. But I'm not worried about. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about Microsoft continuing to push the bar. Why is this so important for all of us that are gamers? Because Microsoft right now, with their push and continue push, they're not done buying stuff yet. They have over $90 billion. Let that sink in. $90 billion cash on hand, ready to make more purchases, whether it's studios, developers, whatever they need to do, marketing. They have the cash on hand. Not only that, but when they took over ABK, $12 billion in the bank of ABK is instantly Microsoft money now in the bank. Literally, because that's what they had on hand, which is now owned by Microsoft. So they have so much money. But why is this good? It's because Sony right now is like, they have been resting on their old franchises, on their old ways of being the market leader for a while. And, you know, they're coasted in this generation starting. And some people say, yeah, they've done a few good games. I'm going to admit that. And I've got a system myself in the other room. I like my PlayStation, but they are, people, especially this kills me the most. People that console sales, or number one in console sales. Well, good. Once the consumer realizes that there's nothing really new coming out, or that there's so much better value on the other console, those are going to get traded in at GameStops, and they're on the rise of trading in. That's why there's no longer the quote unquote demand for the PlayStation 5 like it used to be with all the scalpers and stuff, because they can't get those prices anymore. They can't get nothing. They can't get the regular price. They can hardly get the retail price or below retail because they're flooded. There's so many of them dumping back on the market. Hell, if you do an eBay search right now for Spider-Man 2, there's already copies up. People have already beat the game, completed it, and it came out today, and they've already completed it, and it's up for sale. So used copies.
That's you definitely listen. That's not surprising. Some people see. I see. I don't play their first party games like that. I'm a map guy, so I like going all over the map. I like chasing pigeons and finding jackets and backpacks, and that's just how I play. So I'm probably gonna put easily 40 hours into Spider-Man and enjoy every minute of it. I just hope that I don't have like a bug issue. The minute I get like a 1 or 2 bug issues, I'm going to walk away.
Oh yeah.
Same way I did with Star Wars. Same thing I did with Horizon, because there are too many games to play, and I'm not going to lose gameplay hours. But hopefully that does not happen.
And boom,
Yes,
the best part about this, the roadmap, looking at it visually, is that it's going to make Sony have to do something. And apparently they've gotten rid of Jim.
Yep.
Because they're already starting to plan. They're scrambling to get back on their feet as far as where they need to be. And people talk about, oh, Sony's number one. They are, but they're losing ground, and they know it. There's what they call the chum in the water, and the sharks are circling. Whether it's Nintendo or it's Microsoft, they know it. There's a new handheld coming from Nintendo next year.
Nintendo's got one next year in March.
So
that's when I'm thinking they're going to release that.
Probably going to be, it's going to be big. And, they have competition, folks. And now the competition is nipping at their heels, which is good for us in gaming. Fanboys who are diehard fanboys for one console, I don't know what to tell you. Be a gamer. Not a plastic box lover.
I will say this, and this will be the finite point of the show, and we'll get to outros. And I got another super chat to read from Drew and TJ. I think why this is incredibly concerning for anyone that is a diehard and PlayStation only player. This isn't for this conversation is really not pointed towards multi-plat players, because we're going to play wherever the games are, right? We're going to buy a Spider-Man, we're going to play it there. We're going to buy Mario Wonder, we're going to play it there. We're going to play Halo Infinite here. We're going to play Hellblade here. That's just what gamers do. I think the ultimate driving the point home is what I'm about to say, folks. And that is, every one of those games on the left are in Xbox Game Pass day and date. Every one of those games on the right are $76.43 per game, unless they're free to play. That should concern you if you're a Sony only player, because every one of those games on the left are in Xbox Game Pass day and date, and that does not include second-party deals, third-party deals, and indie. Mind you, the company on the left raised their prices by $1.99, and the other company raised it by $40. Think about that for a second, folks. In a year that they have no leader, in a year that they launched one peripheral in PlayStation VR 2 that failed. The handheld, whatever it's called, is going to fail. They're charging you $40 more for their premium service, and all you're getting in is movies, not day-and-day content. Let that sink in for a hot second. That's why these two companies going in opposite directions. And next year, I'm telling you, The clock starts November 10th, 2023. 12 months from the day that the next Call of Duty releases and drops into Game Pass day and date for what is probably going to be still $16.99 for Ultimate. PlayStation is going to see the grip that they have had on the industry for decades loosened, and they're going to slip and fall. Now, is that second place? Is that third place? I think it's third, because now Sony has to worry about Microsoft, but they also have to worry about a comparable Switch 2 that has Call of Duty. It's going to have the Fortnite. It's going to have the Apex Legends, but it's also going to have their first party games. And the next Mario, folks, I'm here to tell you, the next 3D Mario is going to launch with that console, and it's going to be a banger. But look, that is going to do it for today's show. Hopefully you liked the show enough to subscribe. Hopefully you liked enough to hit the bell icons so you know every time I go live. And I do this Monday through Friday, 5 different shows, 5 different panels, all great content. And yes, we don't hate monger. We give you facts, we give the smoke, but we will not sell you on clickbait to get you to like the channel, to like the video you're watching. Hopefully you did hit the like button on the way out of here. Drawn TJ drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, Sony is like a cheating ex. They cheat on PlayStation players. Yeah, that's a great analogy, brother. I mean, unfortunately they do. And don't stand for it. Ask for better. Same way you folks asked for Microsoft players to ask for better, we did. Here it is. You should ask for better. But let's get to the outros. Dave, will start first with you. Brother, thank you for being here. Sell your brand. Talk about the one-on-one you had this week. And more importantly, where could people check out your YouTube show with Retri from Game Pass _daily each and every Sunday? And who do you have as a guest this week?
Boom, thank you so much for being here. And of course, always awesome to be on a panel with my friend Fuzzy Belvedere. I love you, Fuzzy. You're an awesome dude. And he's a great content provider too. So please get on his channel and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of his great content. Just pushing it out there because, you can't have enough Fuzzy. That's all I'm saying. And but this week's show is going to be pretty crazy. We have we deep dive and break apart the Phil interview, and along
nice.
with you disclose and showcase, meaning we're gonna show the receipts on the Spider-Man Bugfest. I mean, new game that came out.
There's a one that J-Rock just put up, dude. I'm gonna send it to you.
Good.
It says Starfield versus Spider-Man 2 public transit. And it's Spider-Man Miles Morales falling through the train. He cannot get onto the train that he has to. Apparently you have to get into the train.
Part of the mission, yeah.
And he keeps falling through versus Starfield. You get in the train and you go. I'm gonna send it to you in a DM.
Thanks, dude.
It has almost 3,000 likes already. This is J-Rock, a great friend of me personally, and an amazing friend of this community.
Awesome. Thank you, dude. This week we're gonna have slow-mo backslap on Sunday's show.
He's awesome. I love
exactly. Slow-mo. As well as One Bad Mother is gonna be there as well. OBM. So looking forward to that. Me and Retri are gonna.
What a lineup, dude!
I know it.
Amazing.
Thank you. And of course, this week's interview that's already up right now live. TTS talk that stuff. We'll just say is up live now with Sean 786.
Nice.
Him and Dart have an amazing show, and they put it this way: don't go there if you're a big fan of Sony. If you're a big fan of Microsoft, enjoy it; you'll love it. If you're a big fan of Sony, you probably won't last long in their chat. Just saying. And then, of course, a new episode dropping this Monday, and that is going to be Cool Cat Terry from Good Morning Xbox is going to be on, and she's really cool, and she's a big car enthusiast too. So definitely want to tune in and check that out as well. So thanks, Boom.
Looking forward to it, brother. Sounds absolutely amazing. Folks, just real quick, I know that on the original thumbnail, the advertising for the show is that we were going to talk about the Killer Instinct stuff. Unfortunately, I moved that to Monday's show because we had to get into the Spider-Man scenario, which of course was a big part of today's show. So I'm going to change that on YouTube. You'll see the updated show notes as well as the new title. I'm doing that literally as we speak. But Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get you on out of here, brother. Let's sell your brand. One of the best places for anything and everything racing. And yes, as much as he loves Forza Motorsport, he loves Gran Turismo 7. Definitely get over there and check out his YouTube channel. Drop that in, Dave, if you wouldn't mind, so people can subscribe.
Already in there 3 times.
To thank you, sir. Got to get him to
Thank
1K.
you.
And of course, Fuzzy, where could people reach out to you on social media?
As always, thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure being on here with you and Web Dave. Always great to talk with everybody in the chat and interact with you guys on some of the slander we throw out there and some of the, you know, honest opinions we give on some of the games we play and stuff like that. For those that want to hear my other rambles and rants on other games, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on YouTube. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. But everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy gaming. And then hopefully see you guys here 12 o'clock afternoon on Monday for Xbox Lunch Break Special. Look forward to seeing you there.
Well, thank you, brother. Definitely, we're looking forward to that as well. And folks, obviously, thank you again for all of the amazing super chats. They do allow for us to do the big giveaways. And yes, there is another one coming up in the month of November. The first Friday of that week is going to be Mrs. Boom's birthday bash. We are giving away $500 worth of gift cards in 2 hours. And of course, that's going to be 10 $50 gift cards for you to use as you see fit. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, folks, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.